welcome to another episode of Life Happens. I'm your host, Grace. Guys, as you can see, we have the beautiful Felicia again with us. So we're excited to have Felicia. And then we have Kim, y'all, the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes. Y'all, I just woke up. I have to confess. I have not been feeling well today, and I was telling them that my daughter said, "Mom, don't you have a show?" Y'all, I jumped up like a spring chicken. I was disoriented. I said, "A show," but
Cool.
here we are.
Thank you, baby.
So what's up with y'all? How was y'all's weekend? What you'll do?
Mine was fantastic. My husband took me out on a date night. Like, this is our anniversary month,
Okay,
my birthday month. So
congratulations.
thank you. So this weekend we went to go see Arnaz J at the comedy club.
Okay.
It was so good.
How long you guys been married?
On July the 24th, it will be 24 years.
Oh, praise God. That's a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How long you been married, Kim?
25.
Oh, Jesus. That's a long time too, but that's a blessing though.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, because not many of us have made it that far for whatever reasons.
No, it's difficult. It has its good days. Marriage is it's work, but it shouldn't be hard work.
Definitely. It's like just thinking about this topic, drunk in love. Love is intelligence. It shouldn't be don't make decisions for love like you're mindless, you know? But that's what we do though, right? That's why we can talk about the situation by drunk in love. Like when is enough enough? When do you know when to say, okay, I can no longer do this? But sometimes, people don't know for whatever reason. Let me
Well,
see.
marriage in any sort
Marriage,
of relationship is a journey,
Mhm.
you know,
it is.
and you get to decide how far on the journey you want to go,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, it's a decision because you don't feel love every day. I mean, can you imagine? Some days you can't stand the way he chews or breathes.
Right. It is a true partnership, and you are responsible for your own happiness.
That's the key right there.
So if you're not, happy, that's on you. You cannot expect that from another person. Another person can bring you joy, can do happy things, but
Mhm.
your happiness is all up to you. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of us get married thinking, if I get married, I'll be happy. If you're not happy now,
You're not.
you're not gonna be happy when you get married.
So true. So true.
Because you think about the amount of pressure you're putting on an individual to make you happy
Right.
when your core of you don't even like yourself. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? And you expect an individual. I met a guy one time and he was like, he expects his wife or girlfriend to make him happy. And I was like, this Negro needs to go to therapy because
Yeah.
that's why he's been married 4 times
Oh,
because you have expectation on another person. So really, if I say, okay, I need Kim to make me happy, then I'm subcontracting power to Kim.
right. That's a good way.
I'm mere mortal, uncircumcised Philistine. Baby, I can't do that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And that's something I
No.
always think about. We love is like I said, love is intelligent, love is beautiful, and who doesn't want to be in love? You
Right.
know, but when you've been in this situation, when we read the scenario, when is enough enough? How do you know that this relationship is healthy? What are the boundaries? Where are the what's the word? When do you know when it's time to pull the plug?
But see, that's the thing because my boundary may be different than Felicia's or Rabia's. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
Right?
saying? So I think it's on an individual basis because when
Absolutely.
you go into a marriage, it's like when you go on a trip. You're going to bring your baggage and I'm going to bring my baggage. And we're
Right.
going to
Right.
blah, 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 have our suitcases full of baggage. And
Right.
then we bring it together and we open it up and it's like, oh, you brought that? It's like, yeah, I did. Sorry. I brought anger with me. Dang.
Yeah.
You brought selfishness with you. You bought that on the trip. Yeah,
Hmm.
I brought that. Yeah, sorry. You bring your own baggage.
You do. And so that's why those conversations are so important to have in the beginning about setting those boundaries. I personally realized after I got divorced was that I thought that when you were in love with somebody, you merge with them. And that's not true because you lose your identity.
Hmm.
So much so, y'all, and I've shared this before. The first time I went grocery shopping, I was stunted in a sense because I had to ask myself, okay, what does Rabia like to eat?
Wow.
What do you want to have for breakfast? Because I was so merged, right? It was about the kids, it was about my ex, making sure that they had everything they need, and I was secondary to them. Okay. And it's not to say that you don't serve, because as a wife, you do these things, but you have to keep a part of yourself.
Right.
And because I mean, it just makes you a better partner where
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so beat and I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like take a time out because I'm a person, I like to have alone time. I like to be able to my thoughts, and whoever I'm with has to understand that it's not that I don't want to be around you, it's just that I need this time
Right.
to like refuel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I learned a lot of stuff about myself during my divorce. And I was talking to a friend today, and he was telling me about how, because he's divorced, about how all the thing I hear is about how his wife was awful. And I'm just listening. I'm like, baby, you are awful because you contribute to something, whether
I
we want it.
know. What's your
Right.
part?
Yeah,
Right.
everybody. I mean, you may have contributed less than she did, but you
But you contributed
contributed
something.
something. And
I
if you
think an
can't,
important. Go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
you go ahead. It's fine.
I think an important factor that a lot of people miss is your expectations of marriage. You know, Kim and I in our family, we've seen marriages, good, bad, we've seen them all. So I think growing up as a little girl, my expectations was not a fantasy. I kind of understood what
Hmm.
marriage was, and I understood that it wasn't always going to be good, and I understood that it wasn't always going to be bad. So I think the advantage I had was a realistic one. Whereas some people, like my husband said, he had no clue of what marriage would be like. He had no clue. He said he had models, but they weren't good models, you know. So for me, I had both. For him, he had none. He had like maybe one person that he really didn't know well, you know, who was married. So I think that that also plays a part in marriage and how your marriage works. Because if you think marriage is just fun, 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 happy, 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 and you come in with that expectation, and that's not it, that's I think that is the downfall of a lot of marriages because of the expectation of it is supposed to be me and my husband. We're gonna do everything together. We're gonna do this. And it is that's not reality.
It's not, and I don't want to do everything with you. I don't.
No, no,
I don't. I
no,
want to do stuff for myself too. You know, you don't want to lose yourself, and that's the
no,
thing, though.
no.
Um, but I found with people that don't know how to share the blame, they
Mhm.
repeat their behaviors in the next relationship. Because you ain't even, baby, you don't even ready to date. You need to sit back, stand down.
Right.
Because I was just like, he's been divorced for maybe, I'd say over 10 years. He's still talking about the same shit. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
I was like, this is a project. And I feel sorry for the woman he ends up with if he doesn't get healed or help or whatever. But I was like, shoot, I'm not, anyway, not my business, not my circus, not my monkeys. Because after a while, if I'm helping somebody and then you say the same shit over and over, I start getting irritated and I don't, like my ears just get stopped up. I can't listen to you because anyway, I measure progress, guys. Listen, I measure progress because I do it for myself. Like if I'm in a space, I need to be in a particular space. Okay. I can't be saying the same story over and over, right? And then if I am repeating myself, you need therapy or Jesus. It ain't me though. I can't listen
Well,
to
it's
the
not
story.
even that. It's about planning your life. I think most people have no plan for their life. And it's like, no plan is a plan to fail. Like you say, okay, let me evaluate what I did wrong in my marriage. Because I do that in my marriage. Like, as a wife, what could I have done better? Or how could I have handled this differently? And my husband, we have these discussions all the time about different, even minor scenarios and how, you know, I thought, like he may tell me, I thought you were gonna do blase, blase, blase. And I'm like, well, I thought you was gonna do it. But over the years, we've learned we're not mind readers. So if you don't tell me, I don't know. And if I
Right.
don't tell you, you don't know. So it's just there is no, and that's the thing, there is no recipe for a good marriage. There is no recipe, there is no, but what can you do better? How can you plan better? I mean, a lot of it is just like you said, growth and working on yourself and not sitting up repeating and complaining about what happened in the past and move on and grow and plan for the future.
Oh yeah. Because I was thinking like yesterday. I'm like thinking about my age, where I'm at. You know, sometimes you get reflective. You're like, I should have done more of this, or I could have made more impact, or I could have done this, and and I was talking to the Lord and praying and doing all these things. And girl, I don't think I should have had that conversation with myself yesterday because all up in my feelings. Like there's a space for certain conversations, not when you're PMSing. Maybe I should have waited, but but I was feeling some type of way, and I was like, why are you feeling like this?
But it's okay to do that, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
healthy.
sometimes it is, but there's a time and a place, and sometimes I tend to dwell on something for too long. I just need to let it go, you know, because I'm really working on my situation with a certain family member right now. And I think as I write about it, I just feel certain ways. So I just need to unpack, but put it over here on the side. Just wait and then go back to revisit.
I'll be back to you in a minute. Right.
Yeah, because it wasn't for yesterday. It was not. But okay, guys, let's get to the topic: drunk in love. And Felicia came up with the title. I thought it was awesome
I
because
love
I
that.
could not think of, like, me too. I couldn't think of a title. Usually I get inspired by reading the scenario, and then I was like, I don't know. And she said drunk in love. I was like, yes, because this
No, I love it. Drunk in love. I love it, Felicia. I
clearly
love it.
Sister Belle is drunk in love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey Tiff.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome. All right,
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna read, okay?
okay, I'm waiting.
All right. Dear Grace and Kim and Felicia, hi. I've been dating this guy for a year now. At first, everything was fine until a few months back when he started drinking. When his when he's drunk, he calls me names and insults me to a point where he told me I sleep around. Yet I don't do anything wrong. He drinks and stays out and comes the next day back. When I do ask him where he has been, he tells me it's none of my business. Honey. When he's not drunk, he's loving and caring, but he also told me that he loves alcohol, and this is who he is. He's
Hmm.
been out of work, and when I do call him to see how he's doing, he tells me I'm putting him under stress and starts insulting me. If I don't call him when he says I don't care and I don't know he's drinking, he said it's part of his job. He also mentioned to me that he lives a double life. I asked him, what does that mean? He never answered me. When he's drunk, he tells me I do more for my kids and I'm the reason he drinks. He told me I'm a narcissist. I caught him on dating sites and he told me I'm just seeing things. Makes me believe I'm crazy and like I'm at fault. When I go to my family, he will call me nonstop just to hear who is there. I don't know what to do.
Hmm.
Sign confused with drunk
Clearly,
in love.
drunk in love. Clearly.
Yeah.
Baby, baby.
Delusional.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, Felicia, what are your thoughts?
Okay, well, y'all know I started all the way back in the beginning of the letter. He says this is who he is. So at the beginning of our relationship, you sent your representative because that's not who you were, the loving, kind person in the beginning. That was just a representative. And I honestly believe that a person that is
Then,
drunk is more of their true self. Like, I remember when I used to drink, I became a more loving and talkative person. That's more of who I am. And with him being a mean drunk, that's even like worse because in real life, he turns out to be like a jerk. I think she knows what to do. This guy is around her kids. And he's talking to her abusively. He's a mental abuser or he's the narcissist, not her. And she's just, I
yeah.
don't know why she's sticking around with this guy because she said nothing in the letter that was positive, except in the beginning, he was loving. So, like, what are your reasons for staying? So,
Yeah. And then too, they've only been together for a year. Like,
yeah.
so I mean, damn, 1 year. So when did you start? I mean, where were you nice? Like,
Right.
I'm trying to understand like the timeline. You not notice? Like, I mean, did you just go boom, boom? Did you like change on me? Like,
I
how
think
did
you
I miss
changed
it?
on her. I think he changed on her. I think that okay, let me say this to
Hi,
her.
ready, Kev?
Let me say this. I think that we all decide what we can and will not walk out with someone. And I think that she has decided by all the things that she said. I know she's telling everything that he's done wrong in this last year and this has gone on. I think she has decided to walk this out with him, his alcoholism, to walk it out for better days. And I've had friends who have had husbands that were on crack, or they've had husbands who drink, and they have decided, they made the decision, not like, oh, I'm so in love, but I want to walk this out with him because I want to see that end result. I want to see all my hard work of staying in this relationship
No.
paying off.
Mm-mm.
Some
So
women decide that. And
No,
I
I
think maybe
know.
she has decided that to
I
walk it out.
First of all, they don't have kids together, right? She
right,
says that
No, her kids.
she has kids, but they don't have kids together.
right,
Okay. He's saying she's choosing her kids over him, which that's just drunk talk. He can't possibly. I mean, there was something about him that drew her to him initially, obviously, and
Hmm.
then he changed, or maybe she saw the signs, but she thought she could change him, as
right.
most
Yeah.
women think they can change a person. And I mean, okay, so Tanya says, as an alcoholic who's working on myself, there are more deeper issues. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thing is too, he drinks and stays out and comes back the next day. So which means he could have another family, or he's out there somewhere. He comes back the next day. And then from the way he talks to her, there's no explanation.
No.
So I'm supposed to just eat your shit, basically.
He's
I'm
an
eating shit.
alcoholic. He's an alcoholic.
He's an
And he told her, I love drink. I love alcoholism. I like it. It's something I like, and this is a part of me. He's letting her, he's drawing the line. This
right,
is who I am. What do you want to do about it?
right.
She's making the decision to walk that out with him.
And he's set his boundaries. He's like,
He
either
has.
you're gonna do with it, deal with this or not. He set his boundaries. He's like, I'm not changing. But and it's like the acceptance of the. To me, I just can't stand the negative talk. Like she says, he, calls her names, cusses her out, whatever he does when he's drunk. To me, that's just not cool. That where are your boundaries when it comes to stuff like that? Is this the behavior you want your kids to witness? Him acting, drunk and cussing you out and saying all these things. Because I'm sure if her kids are there, that he's not treating them too much better either.
No, he's not. But this is such a good comment. Ivan says she said he started drinking a few months back. Shit. No,
No,
he didn't. Maybe he started back drinking, but he been drinking. In fact, he been drinking. I agree. This wasn't suddenly. Maybe he would like he's in a place now where he just like screw it. I'm just gonna be drinking now, and she didn't know. But I find it hard to believe that she didn't know
I think
because
she saw the signs.
Mhm.
I saw the signs. I think she saw the signs, but she just ignored them
Well, there may
and
not
said
have
it's
been a
not
good
as bad
sign.
as it seems.
Like if you saying, okay, now that I'm taking in perspective that he started back drinking, it may not have been signs. He might have been in the program and then fell
oh,
off the
true.
wagon. He may have fell
Yeah.
off the wagon and then went back to his regular self for him. But for her, it was like, okay, I met the sober guy and now he's, back on this, back drinking. So that happens too.
Yeah. When he's not drunk, he's loving and caring. So that's what's keeping her. That right there is she
He's
wants.
apologizing when he's not drunk. He's not loving
Exactly.
and caring. He's apologizing.
Hi, Keisha, and then doing the same shit again over and over.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's and then he's loving and caring. What else is she say? I can't. Yo, my eyesight is
Honey, that is called abuse.
Yeah.
Coming back, apologizing, doing
yeah,
the same crap over and over
definitely.
again, doing it again, come back and apologizing. He's abusive.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
But then he also told us straight up he loves alcohol, and that's who he is. Like you said, his boundaries have been set. I drink. This is what I'm gonna do. You can either take it or leave it.
Right.
But as much as he's treated her poorly, she has not left. So I don't think he thinks that she's gonna leave.
Right.
He probably thinks, oh, this is a loyal woman. But loyal to who, baby? Like, loyal to who? You're supposed to be loyal to yourself first.
But
Jesus.
abusive people seek out people they can abuse. Like,
True.
he could never pull this off with a very strong-willed, strong-minded woman. She wouldn't give him the time of day. The first time he had that episode, it was it over. So they know how to choose the person that will
Mm-hmm.
deal with that. Or he actually found a person that's dealing with it. So, you know,
Now, check this out. You are drunk and you don't got a job. Yeah? So who's buying your alcohol?
that's confusing because it says it's part of my job. So,
I think he's being sarcastic. That's my job
okay.
to drink. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's the only
Oh,
reason I
okay.
can think he's saying that. And you don't have a, so who's buying you drink? No, really. Like, who's buying you drink? Because how you getting drunk when you don't have a job?
Mm.
Just like you get high when you don't have a job.
Come on, just like you talk on a
Something.
phone and don't have a car.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Hey.
I mean,
Oh
he
my
might have
God.
unemployment. We don't know his financial state, but he might be living at home. You just don't know.
True. But she didn't say she lived with him, so
Right.
I'm under stress and then starts insulting me. So she is asking questions. It's like she knows what to ask and do, but this guy has a hold on her. But why? What do you think?
It must be loneliness. She just wants somebody. I mean, unfortunately, we have people that she probably haven't healed herself from her past relationships, or again, like we talked about last week, she doesn't want to leave because she feels like a year is a lot of time invested into this man. And all he does is drink. And I don't know if he does it all the time, but I guess it's something she feels like she can deal with.
Well, apparently not, since she's asking us.
And maybe the drinking has become an issue. Maybe in the past it wasn't an issue. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
I don't see that. I don't see. Like what Ivan was saying. He's been drinking. He just, I think he fell off the bandwagon again.
No,
Maybe
no.
he
I
didn't go.
mean,
He missed
someone can
2 a.m.
drink socially, be a social drinker, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, you like to get drunk. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it kind of escalated.
I don't think he's a social drinker, just from what she's saying. So my ex used to drink, right? And he didn't start off drinking, but his father was an alcoholic. And so I guess he saw the habits. And then it came to a point where it didn't matter how little he drank, he got
Mhm.
really drunk.
Hmm.
Okay. I guess your body after a while stops, filtering it. If like and the reason he started initially drinking was because he used to work night shift. So he would say he just needs a couple of shots to go to sleep, which, okay, I can get there, right? But then it just got worse and worse and worse. So sometimes and of course there was more underlying issues in that. But in this situation, I share that to say this, it sounds like he's been drinking. Like he just didn't start drinking. Like in college, my ex used to drink, but I didn't think it was an issue.
I
But
think
when I
somebody
think
drank
about
in
it,
college.
yeah,
I
but
used
this was
to
like
drink.
on a whole different level though. Because I drank when I was in college because we were in Kansas together. And but I didn't develop an appetite for, because I can't drink a lot. I will get buzzed very quickly.
Mhm.
Right. And so I don't like to feel like I'm not in control of myself. So that's why it wasn't like, something I continued doing. He just continued doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and then after a while it affected, of course, our marriage. It was so bad.
Hmm.
um but that's my situation. Let me
But
see.
again, so help me understand. He drinks. He says he loves to drink. He talks to her abusively. He says that she treats his kids better than her. When she goes out, he calls her excessively to see who's there at wherever she is, and he makes up to her, apologizes, treats her well. After an episode, I'm sure. So why is she there? He doesn't have a job, and I don't know his living situation. So what is keeping her?
Man, that's what we're trying to figure out, what is keeping her, because why. Eric says she the drunk one. Dopamine is a hell of a drug. So I was talking to someone about the scenario yesterday, and they said that maybe the sex is keeping her. That or like financially, but I was like, he doesn't have a job. But he was like, well, maybe he has money. Um,
Girl.
but I mean,
Maybe it's love. Maybe she honestly loves the guy. She just loves him and want to see him set free from alcoholism.
But to what? I mean, what price do you have to pay to see him set from alcohol? Can you
That
not see him set free from alcohol from a distance? Because you know for a fact that she has an internal war. That's why she's asking. I don't know what to do. What should I do?
you know what to do. When people ask that question, if it's gotten you to the point to write a letter to ask some strangers on what you should do, you already know the answer.
Hey,
It's
she
bad.
wants she wants somebody to tell her, leave his
Right. She
That's what
wants
she wants. She wants someone to tell her. She needs to hear the words
yeah.
go, run.
She wants somebody on her side, but still it's like, you know, the pros and the cons. And it looks like that con list way is longer than the pro list in her situation.
Yeah.
Derek says, sounds like he's self medicating. Also, her issue could be pride. She's staying because his problems give her life a meaning. Wow, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is CJ. CJ says, what's going on, my black queens?
Hey,
And
CJ.
he's got a special message for Kim, honey. He said, Kim, we miss you, man. I know Kim has been missing. She been on vacation and stuff.
Oh, cool, cool.
But I like what Derek said. It could be pride. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I didn't tell anybody what was going on in my family about my marriage. And because I don't really like to share my people, my business really. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I should have spoke up about that because it became, abusive. And I didn't say anything. And it was pride because of culture and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a valid point. Is it
Yeah.
pride that's keeping her? Maybe her life has no meaning and she feels that if she saves it, you know how some people say, Captain save a hoe? Maybe she's,
What did you just say?
Captain save a hoe.
It could be pride because
I
her
mean,
family may be telling her he's trash, he's this, he's that, and she's like, "I'm
mhm.
gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. He's a good guy. I'm not leaving." Because I personally had a friend in that situation where when she got married, everybody said that's a bad idea. You shouldn't marry him. He's not a good choice. And she said she stayed married. They were married for a total of 5 years. She said she stayed married 4.5 years longer than she should have because she wanted to prove everybody wrong. But she was the one that
Ooh.
ended up miserable. Yeah. So it could be that.
So CJ says, I missed the topic of discussion, so bear with me as I try to follow along. Um, who would like to briefly? Well, it's basically a woman that's in love with the alcoholic and he's treating her like shit and she's staying. I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
that's it in a nutshell.
What are the signs, though? What are the signs of any sort of addiction? That, I
Hiding.
mean, are there signs pinpoint? Sexual addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction. What are they that we can help the viewers out there that are listening or watching, saying, you know what? I think my husband has an addiction, and I never realized it before.
Derek said the same lady will get with a good guy who has it together and sabotage it if she comes from dysfunction. That is a norm. So normal doesn't feel right.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
is a valid point.
it is a good point.
That is very valid. Especially if you're used to having chaos and you go into peace, you think something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You think, like, let me tell you all. So I got into a relationship and I was in therapy, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew that I would get up if I wasn't, because I didn't know what normal was supposed to be. And I
Mm-hmm.
thank God over time, it's like, oh, okay, no, you're not supposed to be fighting and cussing and fussing. That's not normal. But when you're so accustomed to having this heightened, always on, you're always on, and then not to be on is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So I understand what Derek is saying. She will sabotage if she doesn't get help.
Yeah.
That's why so many people, if you notice, so many people will get divorced and jump into a relationship immediately, and then it does not work because all that stuff you brought from your marriage, you are vomiting, like you are projectile vomiting, and it's not fair to that person. But we do that. Um,
Robbie, how do you recognize addiction? Because I know you said that your ex had addiction to alcohol. Like, when did you realize that it was becoming an issue?
when he could not sleep without it.
Hmm.
Like, didn't make sense to me. Because think about it, if you work night shift and maybe the first couple nights you don't sleep well, by night number 5 or 4, whatever, you're gonna be pretty exhausted, I would think.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But then when he would get drunk, he would get very nasty. Like his mouth was like he was just mean. And then I thought, okay, it was just towards me. And then I noticed he was talking crazy towards the kids. And there would be times where I would stand between him and the kids and say, okay, that's enough. Because I felt like everything I was trying to do with my children, as far as, building him up or whatever, he
Hmm.
was tearing them down. And so then I realized it was like me and the kids against him, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just only alcohol, it was like marijuana as well. But it wasn't like, you smoke sometimes, like every damn day. Like I can't, I will not deal with it. It becomes an issue. And then what they do is they get very like lazy. And I guess it affects people differently. Get very lazy, very like no goals, no aspirations, none of that. It just affected everything. And then after a while, I did not like him. Like you just don't. The worst thing about somebody, because you're supposed to love everybody, right?
Hmm.
You love, but when you don't like a person,
Mm.
that's bad.
That's
Like
bad.
that
Yeah.
is bad. I
Yeah.
don't like his ass. I don't like this. I don't, ooh, that's how it feels like. I don't like this man. I don't like him.
Wow.
Don't want to be around him. Don't want to talk to him. Don't ask him his opinion. Don't even care.
Hmm.
That's how bad it got because of
Oh.
that alcohol. Because his mouth was loose.
Hmm.
Anyway, let
But
me.
that's typical, not with your situation, but I was thinking back on women that I know that are and were in abusive relationships, and you hear it all the time. When it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's good. So it's like two extremes. Like either he's beating on me or he's loving on me. It's
Right.
never that balance of he's not, as an abuser. Well, I don't know if there is a balance as an abuser. You're abuser, you're abuser, but there's
Right.
never a balance. You hear people say, oh, they use excuses for, oh, we fight because we're passionate. You make excuses for,
Right. For bad
what you're
behavior.
asking for. What are
Hmm.
signs? You make excuses for the signs. Like she said, he just needs to drink to sleep. But you seen after a while that, hey, this is not for sleep
Yeah, this is
anymore.
not
Right.
okay. Because a couple of shots I can get, but when you're
Right.
drinking those liter bottles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
So let me read some comments. CJ says, "Sleep without you or sleep without the drink." No, he could not fall asleep. He said if he didn't drink.
Right.
So you talking about daytime drinking? Like you could be drunk by 11 a.m. in the morning,
Wow.
Right.
right? I mean, and every day, not some days. I'm talking about
Yeah.
every day that the Lord created, even the days that you didn't go to work. You full of shit, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, um, he just says, "Yeah, that ninja's tripping. When I drink, I'm more relaxed than anything."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know you in that red cup, baby.
But that's the thing. Some people drink and they become very funny. Some people drink and they cry. Some people drink and, like you said, they're mean. So it's like it,
Right.
it affects different people different ways.
Derek said a person who indulges that much is trying to drown out something.
I
I
believe that too.
absolutely agree. But you know
Yeah.
what? We have to get out of the habit of intellectualizing bad behavior. Well, you drink because there's something deeper. Hell, we all got deep shit we're dealing with. But
Right.
no, I'm sorry. I'm telling you, I learned this in therapy because when I used to go to therapy, I would tell my therapist, say a situation, and then I would try to understand why the person, and then I'm like, I'm spending more time trying to figure out why you an asshole versus figuring out why the hell did I deal with your shit. Like
Right.
at some point, we cannot continue doing that. Now, I can understand maybe in the beginning, you're like, okay, but you saying the same shit, but there's no change. I'm gonna intellectualize your poor behavior and you treat me like shit. I don't think so. Your trauma is not my responsibility. I'm not putting
Exactly.
on that
Say
burden.
that one more time. Your trauma is not my
It is not.
responsibility.
But that's what we do as women, as men do it too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As women, we nurture, we want to fix stuff, and it's just like sometimes you can't fix it. I can't want you to stop drinking so bad, and then you don't do it.
You don't
You
want it.
don't
You
even
don't want
see
it.
that there's a
You
problem.
don't want it. Mm-mm.
This man knows that there's an issue. You know what I mean? Like he said it, but still, and that's the thing, y'all. It's about the self-awareness. Like people are always talking about, I'm aware of myself, but what are you doing with the self-awareness? How do you use it? So you know you're an asshole. So then why are you still an asshole? Stop being an asshole.
Because that's who they want to be.
Exactly.
That is who they want to be. They don't want to change.
That's the self-awareness. I am who I am. This
This
is
is
who I
what it
am. That is my
Okay.
self-awareness.
Great, but now what are you doing with this information that you have, though? You self-aware, congratulations. But how do you stop repeating behaviors?
They don't want to stop. They want to keep the
Exactly.
same behavior that they have.
But
Like
it is your
that's
job. It is your job
exactly.
to believe them. And I think a lot of times we don't believe them. I'm telling you I love alcohol. I'm telling you I'm a drunk. It is my job to believe you.
Right. And walk away. You are
Right.
not good for me. You create wars inside me.
Right.
Like, hell no.
Right.
We know how hard I'm just thinking about my life. Like, I work very hard on my mental health. And if
Mhm.
I'm with somebody that I have to constantly be at war with myself, I don't want to be with you. I'm
Yeah.
not. That means you're just not for me. Period.
Right.
So CJ says, yeah, no cap. I got a homeboy that drinks and he gets very violent, and I always got to leave him at the crib. Oh my God, y'all. I cannot. Okay, I'm not going to curse, but I cannot stand a female that has one sip of liquor and acts like she cannot stand. Girl, I'm going to leave your ass on the ground. This shit irritates the snot out of me. I have a friend that does that. Like literally, she will drink and then act like she's so drunk. I lift her ass. Bye. Because you're embarrassing me. Control yours. Anyway, it's another story. Control yourself.
But I think it's true what Felicia said. You know, when someone shows you who they are and they actually tell you who they are, we have to believe them.
Right.
Believe them. I
Yeah.
always say that to myself. When someone shows you who they are, they show you that they're messy, they show you that they're a gossip, they show you that they're mean and uncaring. Believe them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't brush it off as maybe that's just today. Maybe they're just upset today. Maybe, this person's just like that. No, that's who you are. This is who you are. I believe it.
I believe you. I believe you. This is, and we want to, as women, and I will say some men too, we want to fix this person. We want this person to be perfect and right. Like, okay, they have the perfect job, they have the perfect car, but they just got a drinking problem.
Mm-mm.
But that can be fixed. We want to
Mhm.
fix it, and it's no, that's who they are. That's who they are.
I was talking to my girlfriend today and she was telling me that her ex smoked cigarettes. And I
Mhm.
was like, ugh, I don't like cigarette smoke. And
Mhm.
she was like, I know, me neither. And he tried to quit, but he never could. And
Mm-mm.
I was like, but you didn't like it? She was like, oh no, but he never gave it up. And I was like, so you just let that just continue on. Like they're
But
divorced now,
that's
but
the
you
one
just,
thing. I mean, that's marriage. What you just said is marriage. What is it in a person that you can deal with? Because you don't ever think you can change it, that you can deal with. Do the other qualities that he has? Is he a good provider? Does he treat me well? Is he attentive? Is he satisfying? I would say 80% of my want list. But he's a drinker, but he may you know not be the best looking guy or whatever that situation is. Can I deal with that? That's part of a relationship. Is that something I'm willing to deal with? And I guess hope
boundaries.
is something.
That's true.
What are you willing to walk out? I'll
Right,
walk out your cigarette addiction.
right,
I'll walk out your beer addiction. I'll
right,
walk it out. I will.
right.
You know, people get caught up in looks, and we do about how the
Mhm.
person looks, and oh, he's so fine or she's so fine or whatever, whatever.
Oh, thank you, Rabia. Thank you.
But fine is not cutting it nowadays. That's not enough. I don't give a damn how fine you are, how great your body is, how many muscles you have. If I can count your fucking six pack, oh, excuse me for cussing you. If I can count you, I don't care about that.
Yeah,
Peace has got to be a priority. If
right.
there's no peace, hell no.
Let's see.
I think this is CJ, and I say I think because of the comment below that. He says, "I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely a functioning alcoholic, but I don't never let it affect. Baby, are you drinking today? My personal life, no any relation. I'm just teasing. I'm the type of person that can drink and still go to the gym the following day.
Mm,
I can't do that. I gotta drink and sleep, take a nap.
Yeah.
Somebody says, I'm not gonna lie, I had a daughter that was in the situation. That's why I say I don't think it's CJ. I don't know. Um, well,
Hmm.
how did she get out of the situation? Because did you help her out of it? I mean, this it's tough.
Hmm.
It's tough because wow, they said laughing my ass off. Yes, Grace, I'm drinking as we speak. This is CJ. Hold on. I thought that you could not drink because you were training. Am I? Is that CJ? Um, in a way, though, guys, I feel sorry for the woman. I do. I feel compassion to her, towards her. Like, why don't you love yourself enough to walk away? Why?
Yeah.
But with these letters, y'all, I have to play devil's advocate. We're just hearing her side of the story. We don't really have his perspective from it, or what she did, or like when she says he calls me multiple times when I'm out at functions. Okay, was it the drinking why he called you multiple times, or you know, it's kind of like of a one-sided deal. We're just hearing from her perspective. They always say it's three sides to the story: her side, his side, and the truth. So I'm sure that she is not innocent in this whole ordeal, because you don't stay with anybody that long without being combative, or whatever the situation may be. It may have been a situation where they had an argument about the kids while he was drunk, and that's what she's saying when he says, I do more for my kids. You know what I mean? So we're only getting that like one-sided perspective in this letter.
What
Yeah.
is it called when you have an alcoholic and the person is an enabler? Maybe she's just an enabler. You know
Maybe.
what I'm saying? Maybe she enables him to do that. Maybe she's the one, buying the liquor. Maybe she's the one
Well,
that
if you
is,
don't have no job, she probably is funding
Yeah.
his habits.
so maybe she's the one that is, enabling him, and she feels like, what would he do without me, kind
Right.
of scenario. Maybe she's the crutch. You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
she made it clear he wasn't working. Why? What does that have to do with his drinking? you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what says no cap there, man. Probably slanging, or he must have money because she allowing this to go on. But you said something about enabling Kim.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family member that was married to an alcoholic, right? They were
Mm-hmm.
married for like over 22 years. I mean, like she's in her 60s. He's passed on now.
Hmm.
Um, he would get so drunk and go missing, right? Missing. She would go drive and go find him, would beat his behind, put him in the car. He would like urinate on himself in the car.
Hmm.
She would get home. Now listen, she would get home. He may lay on the ground in the front yard. She would hose his behind. You doing too much, okay? That's too much. This man did not work. Do you know why he didn't work? Because she told me that if he worked, then he may meet somebody at work and go drinking and not come home and kill himself.
What?
Yes, I'm not, I cannot make this shit up. I know this person, it's a family member. This is what she
Wow.
told me.
Wow.
Can't say who it is. Baby.
Number one enabler. She's an enabler, man.
Yes. And she does it to her sons now. Uh anyway, but yeah, he didn't work. He did not work. He would stay at home. And if she called home from work and he didn't answer his phone, she would go into pure panic mode. She would call one of us and say, hey, can you go and check on so and so? Hell no. I'm not checking on so. I must leave my
Wow.
job to go check on a grown man. I'm not doing that.
Wow.
Wow.
It was that bad. But it was alcohol that killed him in the end. It wasn't like he had stopped drinking for a year. What had happened was that the lining of his stomach, the
Hmm.
veins in his stomach, bust. So
Ooh.
he had to have the surgery, right? The year before he died. So they stitched him up or whatever. He stopped drinking. They said if it happened again, he probably wouldn't make it. He had
Mm.
literally stopped drinking. A year later, he passed on
Mm.
Oh, wow.
because he drank.
So much.
Alcohol did that.
Wow.
Like he got up one morning and was throwing up blood, and they knew that there was fresh blood because you can tell the difference between fresh and dark blood. And so they rushed him to the hospital, and he never recovered.
Hmm.
What a life! She
Wow.
knew him from her youth. But
Wow.
when
Wow.
I listened to her story of her life, her father was an alcoholic, and her mother dealt with that, and the father was a veteran, and so he had these mental issues, and so the mother just, right. So that's a learned behavior.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Wow.
She
Yeah.
continued that pattern in her life.
Hmm.
What a tragedy.
Yeah. And
Very
now
much.
she's doing it with her children. So
And
Wow.
the
she's
cycle,
continuing it.
and there's somebody that has to say, okay,
Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
And no one's saying that in that family yet.
Yeah. Something needs to be broken in that bloodline for real.
Yeah. That's a spiritual. That's wow. That's deep. That's deep.
Can you imagine? I don't want my man to work because I'm afraid. It's just like with even infidelity. Oh, I don't want him to work because he might meet somebody at work. Oh, I don't. What? He may meet somebody on Facebook, girl. You don't gotta go nowhere.
You can meet somebody at the gas station. I mean, you just gonna stay home?
That's fear though. Fear will grip you like that. Will grip you. Will grip you like that. Not letting your man get a job, not letting him leave the house. Just like that controlling aspect. You know what I'm saying?
But do you
Yeah.
think it's not letting or him allowing you? Because
Well, of course
if
he's allowing it. Yeah.
if you say, if I told my husband, Pastor, you're not getting a job, you're not gonna work anymore. First of all,
Hey.
he'll be like, you're crazy.
I don't want you talking to nobody.
I don't want you
No.
talking to anybody. Okay, well,
I don't want you to go to work because you're so fine, and I want somebody else to shares.
they can have him if it's that easy.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Or bye.
It's like I wish you well in all your endeavors. May the good Lord bless and keep you,
Mm.
sir, because shit, I must be
Right.
concerned.
Yeah.
No.
Nika says doing all this extra sounds like a part-time job. I agree.
Yeah.
And that I'm not getting paid for. No, ma'am. Of course, there's compromise, but there's some things that you can't risk your peace for.
Come
Absolutely.
on. That's so true.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Maybe that's a generational curse. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm. And where are your boundaries? When is enough? I'm with Kim on that one. When is enough enough? Like, when do you say this is enough? I mean, this is enough. Like, I'm driving around, I'm leaving my job, driving to find you. You're not working. I'm spraying water. I mean, when is enough enough? Like,
And then you a grandmother, honey. I mean, you a like you're not a young woman.
no.
Like I
But
remember
it's boundaries.
she
Where are
said
your boundaries?
she took him to the casino in Oklahoma because it's not a far drive. She said, you know how they have the free drinks?
Mm,
She could not find it.
no.
I'm laughing now because I was like, you are out
Baby,
there.
baby. Enough is enough.
Mm-mm.
CJ says, laughing my ass off. She was afraid he was going to riz up a shorty on the side. Shorty can have him. He ain't got no job, baby. I
Mm-mm.
can be bad by myself. I mean, why? That's
So
insane to me.
set yourself free. Set yourself free. If
I mean,
anybody out there is living like that,
even if
come
it
on,
was
set
about
yourself free.
the physical, about sex or whatever, you can call that person up and hey, you don't have to be in a relationship with that person. You know what I mean? Even if
Or you can just go get you the rose
right,
and let him go. I'm sorry. There's no way. You're gonna make me miserable and goodbye. It cannot be that great.
no, no, not for that abuse. It's an
No.
abusive situation. It's very abusive,
Yeah.
and he is unapologetically a alcoholic, and he
Yeah,
said it
and
like that.
but the thing with this scenario though, like he told her, he's telling her. Yeah, I mean,
I love
this is
alcohol.
facts. Baby
What
girl
is
in the
the
bottom
problem?
spoon. Yep.
He's telling her, like, in a matter of fact, like, I love alcohol. Just like, a food addict may say, I like cake. If you can't get with me like a cake, then we don't need to be together.
Right. I mean, at what point, again, like Kim was saying, very good point. How do the signs? Maybe you missed the signs because you've never been with the alcoholic before. Maybe you've never seen that before. But with intuition, the way I think intuition works, like maybe you said something ain't right though. Maybe I should do some Googling or I should ask somebody or something to figure out like, is this normal? But again, normal is what's normal for one may not be
Subjective.
normal. But yeah. So it's like, but clearly this is no.
But girl, you know what make you sad. You know what makes you happy. I mean, some stuff is just basic. If somebody's talking bad to me, talking to me crazy, that does not make me feel
That
good.
does not make me happy.
Yeah,
That
love
does
should
not
not
make me
hurt
feel good
mentally
about
or
me.
physically. If your
Right.
love is abusive, you hurt me mentally, like talking about me, you hurt me physically by hitting me, you don't need a book. It is what it is.
You
This
need to get
hurts.
out. Good
Get
day,
out.
sir. Good day. And I will get over your ass.
Right.
Good
This
day.
hurts.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I think sometimes people make love like it's not intelligence. Love is intelligent.
Very.
You don't. That's when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm so crazy in love," and I heard, wait, I think it was a preacher said, "Don't ever say, I'm falling in love. I'm walking in love. I'm working." Some stuff he said, but it made sense when he said at the time, "Oh, I'm crazy about you," or stuff like that. And I was thinking about what he said, but then I had to really take a grain of salt because he was married about 5 or 6 times. I was like, what, the seventh time you're gonna get it right, sir?
I always wonder about that. I think there's a limit of getting married in Texas. You can only get a marriage license so many times in Texas. I
Really?
heard that somewhere. Yeah. So
Really?
He
yeah,
lives in the United States.
I have
But
an uncle that's been married like 9 times.
where is this? It's a lot of times.
A lot. He's had a
Is
lot
he
of
from
wives.
Africa? I mean, was he married like legally, or was this like?
These are all legal marriages.
Oh wow, that's a
Hmm.
lot of.
A couple of his wives died. Like he's
Okay.
old. He's in his 80s, but yeah,
Okay.
some of them didn't last like a week or two. But yeah, he's been married a bunch. And then
Jesus.
that's why I heard like they'll stop giving you licenses after a while. You know, they
Really?
so many. Yeah, you have to go to another state to get married. But if you get to that number, it's like a ridiculous amount of times.
Wow.
But I just want to add this here. He's accusing her of cheating. Did you all see
Hmm.
that? That's
Hmm.
Hmm.
because he's cheating.
Right.
Yep. And then making it seem like she's the one that's crazy.
He's gaslighting her. Yes.
Oh God. And
Hmm.
I think when he's nice to her, he's giving her some breadcrumbs. Because a lot of men will do that. They'll give you some breadcrumbs just to keep you there. So you think, oh, okay. But you gotta look past those things though when people breadcrumb you. Because that's very, very I've seen a lot of it lately. People do that.
But
Like you see,
said it at
Oh
first.
no, but they're like the breadcrumbs are so good. In
Yeah.
the breadcrumbs, there's a little sugar, a little spice.
I mean, but after a while, I would like to think that you don't like how this person makes you feel. And then you take a step back. I think when you're in a healthy place, it's good. You take a step back and you reevaluate. Now, I have had a tendency in the past to move very quickly. When I say move quickly, I mean cut your ass off very quickly, okay? Not hesitate. But now I'm not as quick to move because I will look at it because I have to ask myself, right? I don't know if you know about attachment styles. You get anxious attachment style, avoidance, and all these things. So I'm not gonna say what my attachment style is because I know my attachment style. I gotta say, hey, wait a minute, is it me or is it you? Once I identify it, then I know how to move
No,
because
no,
those
no, no,
feelings.
no, no. Tell me what attachment styles are.
I'm gonna send
Tell
you
me
this
what
book.
that
It's a
is.
lot. It's a lot to go into right now. We don't
No,
have
just
enough
give me
time.
a little short blurb of what it is.
So it's basically how you attach to people. If you in an avoidance
Oh,
attachment style, that means when there's intimacy, I avoid you and I push you back. If I anxiously attach, that means if I feel like you're not responding to my texts fast enough, I start getting anxious and I just text, 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 and text. But I'm not giving you the space to respond to me. So when you a
oh,
certain style, and then you get secure attachment style, that's what everybody wants to be. You work towards that. And attachment styles can change as you heal. Those styles change.
oh,
I did
okay.
not know it was an issue until I found this book, y'all. And I read this book and I was like, shit. I found out how I operate, and then I found out why I do that.
Mhm.
And once I identify all those things, like I know when I'm in a certain space that I need to stop, pause, give the other person the time to respond or whatever. Because a lot of times it is nothing the other person's doing, it is inside of me and it's nothing to do with them. So I'm slower in making some decisions. But let me say this, when I make a decision, I have looked at every avenue about why something will not work and why it's time to let it go. So I'm not just making an unintelligent decision, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
Where before I would be Baby, primed by emotion. See, emotions are not a bad thing. We look at it as a bad thing. To me, emotion tells me where I need deliverance in what area. Number one, if it's healthy, because like if you fixated on something, then that's a problem. If you know what I'm saying, emotions are not a bad thing. But I used to think if you cry, you're weak, but that's not true. I used to feel weak because I grew up in that environment. What you crying for? Did somebody die? I just want to cry. No, we don't do that. I wasn't raised like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mika's attachment style. I love that. Girl, I'll show you that. Share that book with you. It is bomb. Like I was mind blown. I couldn't put it down.
Oh
I
wow.
still have it and I'll refer to it now and again when I feel a certain way. I'm like, okay, what you doing, Rabia? What's up, girl? Why
Yeah.
are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of just slow my thoughts down because I will mess up some shit if I don't do that. And I don't go to therapy like as much as I used to. I go as needed. So I don't need to talk to her every 2 weeks. But I know when like, okay, I need to talk to her, then I go.
Oh, okay.
No, and I work on it very diligently.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. But Kim, you knew me from 20 years ago, girl. Am I the same person I was then? I mean, think about
Lord, no. Thank you, Jesus.
it. CJ says it's 4 times in Dallas after you've considered checking up at that point. How do you know, CJ? How do you know, sir? I need to know how you know. Because you 25. So how you know?
I actually know, y'all. I know a guy that I used to work with. He's on his 5th marriage, and he is not 40 yet.
No.
5 times already, and he is not 40. He was a lot younger than me because he was on his 3rd wife when I first met him, and at that time he was like 23, 24. And we worked together for 11 years, and he got divorced and would be remarrying. And I was on Facebook probably a month ago, and I saw that he was getting married again. Wow. I think some people are just, they don't want to be alone, or I don't know. I don't know why, a serial marrier, a serial husband.
Yeah, that's a lot because the person I know they got married a couple times. Well, not a couple. He got married a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like he will incorporate this woman into his life and his ministry. Like I mean, so you know when it's broken up because you got them like this and you're not married yet. So he has intentions of he's gonna marry you, but it's like the marriage will be for a year or two and then they get divorced.
Right, the thrill is gone. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they just
But it's
love
expensive.
love.
Huh?
How do you lose love?
I said maybe they just love.
Maybe.
Mm.
Hmm.
I just love
That's a lot though. But I noticed though all his wives they all look the same.
But my question is,
Yes,
if I meet somebody that's been married 4 times, I'm gonna be really, or 3 times.
I
I'm
know.
gonna be really cautious, very cautious about marrying and getting to another relationship with them, especially if they're newly divorced or newly, single.
Absolutely, yeah.
If
Because
I met someone who just got divorced or has been in the divorce, I'm like, okay, let's talk about your divorce and why it did not work.
Right.
Because I want to know truth. Because I feel like men and women, they'll blame it on the other person when they're in a new relationship. Like, oh, my husband was a dog, or, my wife, she didn't respect me.
I
And
think
they'll put it on the other person when they're talking to the new person. And the new person's like, oh, really?
yes, I think everybody does that in the beginning, but then if you really want to heal, you got to take a really honest look at yourself about your contribution towards this demise of this relationship. If you never get to that point, you will go on to repeat the same behavior.
Right.
Because at some point you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and say, listen, I was a bitch. I
Right.
was terrible. I was disrespectful. It doesn't matter that he was the way that he was,
Right.
but he doesn't control my reactions or my responses to what he does. And when you get to that point, then I think you well on your way to being in a healthy relationship. If you can see that, stay single for a little while longer, but go get help. Seriously though.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting on my bed and the Lord spoke to me. And it really made me back up and really look at myself. I love when God corrects us.
Me
Because the
too.
Bible says those that he loves, he chastises. And I felt in that moment I was stinging, but I took a step back and I really looked at myself and I did not like what I saw. And I
Right.
said, okay, Lord, since you showed it to me, then you're going to help me. And
Mm-hmm.
it has been amazing and real and bumpy and all those things. But I thank God for I would never have seen myself had he not spoke to me about it. Because what happens is when you feel like you're in the right, you have the self-righteous feeling. It's
Right.
just like when you're on Facebook and somebody comes after you and they cuss you out and you're like, well, I'm not going to respond. I'm going to take the high road. But inside you pissed off. You still want to cuss them out. What did you just did now? You just actually acting in pride because you took the higher road. But really, you're still talking shit about the person. I'd rather just cuss them out and then repent. Fuck it. Let me just cuss you out and repent. Because I'm not going to take the higher road and then still be suffering.
I
Doesn't make
know.
sense to
Come
me.
on.
So I
Why
don't
are you
think.
doing that? Why
Yeah,
do you do
I
that?
think it's your
Because you want to
approach.
be mature.
Everybody's approach to that is different because I have a strong what my kids or husband call a cutoff game. If you cross me the wrong way, I'm done. We have no. You're dead. So I handle it. I'm one of those people that handle it like with the sharp sword. We're done.
But not everybody can do it like that. A lot of
Right.
us we want to do it like that, but we haven't arrived at that point. So you're still holding on to some shit, but you acting like, oh yeah, I don't care. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
you care. But if you
You
can do
care.
that,
You care. You care.
Let me tell
yeah,
you something. If we done. Your number's no longer in my phone. Plus, you blocked. I
ha,
don't. If I follow you on Facebook, I don't want you to see me happy. I don't want to see you happy. It's just
right.
I'm done.
She
Not a
don't go
little bit of done.
backwards.
I'm
She don't go
done.
backwards. She don't go
I
backwards.
don't go back at all.
That's
If
good
I'm
though. You don't eat vomit.
no, no, not at
Mhm.
all. If I'm done, I'm done. Like, and it takes a lot to even get me there. But if you show me who you are, I believe you. Now, if I know you're a gossip or whatever, I know I'll never tell her my business ever because she showed me that that's what she does. You would never know anything about me. And I don't know why I'm like that. I'm just, you know.
No, I watch people too, so I understand that. I absolutely understand that. CJ says, facts, Kim. Every girl I have told them it was the other girl's fault. We know you have, CJ. LOL. I like to flex on the other person for a little bit, then I block them.
Oh wow.
At least he's honest, y'all.
Yeah.
So this is what I do. If you are interfering with my peace,
Right.
I don't give a damn if you say, "Oh, she blocked me." I did it for me. I didn't do it for you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to see you,
Mm-hmm.
and you messing with my peace, so I'm gonna block you.
Right.
There are two things in particular that if a person does to me, I will not hesitate in cutting you off. Like I won't even look back. But it's just two things, really. It's not a lot that um and I think it's a lot to do with pride too, though. It's like we taught as Black people, you're proud of who you are, and black, and sometimes that can be an issue too, because when God doesn't like proud, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to that point, and sometimes I have to be careful of that, like,
Mm-hmm.
and but there was one time I wanted to cut somebody off, and I prayed about it, but I would have been in the wrong because it was pride. I mean, I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I work on myself enough to know me. I've become an expert on myself. And this lady is clearly not an expert in self, because if she was, she wouldn't put up with this man's stuff. And I can't, like you're saying, Felicia, we don't know the other parts of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we only can talk from the perspective that we have. Um, yeah, she an idiot anyway.
I
She's a
told my
victim.
daughter the other day, I said something off color to her. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I said, I'm still working on me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that because I'm still working on myself. So yes, it's an ongoing thing, is it
It
not?
is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a strong believer in therapy. I have even done therapy myself. I work on myself. I journal. I do all those things. But above all things, self love. And I'll always preach that self love because if you don't take care of yourself, how can you help or love or take care of anybody else?
You cannot. You fooling yourself if
Love
you think that.
yourself.
Mm.
So, guys, I guess, are these our final thoughts?
Yes.
It feels like it's our final thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes. My final thought to her is, baby, go look in the mirror. Go right now to the mirror and look in the mirror. Is this who you want to be? Is this the life you want? And if your answer is no, then get out.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. As simple as that.
Girl, whoever you are, I hope you heard Kim. She said, "Get out, leave that ninja alone, okay?
Right. Right.
Leave him alone."
I totally agree. I
Yeah.
100% agree with both ladies.
Yeah, I would leave, and I think a lot of times people don't leave because we don't like to feel bad. We don't want to hurt. But I don't know if you noticed this. Like I've always felt like this when something was coming to an end. I always would feel like sadness, but then I would have this feeling of excitement because I knew something new was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always have those two emotions.
I love that.
It may hurt. I have the hope of newness. Something new is going to happen.
I love
Because
that.
I'm not going to stay single. I'm a wife, right?
Right.
And I look forward to that because I know that one day I am going to, baby, amazing. You know why? Because I work on myself and I listen to the Lord. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you why, well, Kim will know this because she knows me so long. I mean, I would think nothing of cutting you with my mouth, like nothing.
Crazy. I mean, just
It was bad.
yeah.
It was. Remember that time, Kim, when you were sitting with your Bible and I said, "What is that shit you reading?" Hey,
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
that was bad because I was a hardcore Muslim girl. I
She
was like, oh,
was.
I was like, these people over here, they don't even pray. I pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Y'all don't pray.
That.
Oh my God, let me read this comment before we close it. CJ said, I'm so petty. I slide in the best friend's DM and I'll tell them, I always thought you was the pretty one. Wow. Hey.
Oh, CJ.
That always works. CJ, baby, we're gonna pray for you because Lord help us. Really? But then think about his age. Or do old people do that? They probably do. They
Probably.
probably do.
I do have one more final thought. She needs to
Mhm.
think about her kids. Is this the example of relationship of love you want your kids to see? So I think that's very important. So that's another iron in the fire to leave.
I agree, but a lot of times they're not thinking about the kids.
Mm-mm.
So I just want to say this. This is it's totally not to do with this, but I was reading or watching a video of, I don't know if you saw it. I wish I found it again. A woman was saying that she's friends with a woman that has kids, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
kids call and say, "Hey, Auntie so and so, I'm hungry. You know, we have no food to eat." So she goes over to the house and the mom is there. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cooking steak and potatoes for her
For her
boyfriend
friends, for his friends.
and his friends, and your kids are hungry.
Right. Oh, but she said they had ramen noodles to eat. They had food to eat, but they weren't eating steak and potatoes.
I was too outdone by that.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yes.
Come on.
It was a
man.
mess. I don't remember it all, but I do remember she was cooking steak and potatoes for him and his friends for their football game night or
Mhm.
whatever.
And the kids
We're hungry.
were hungry. Wow. I mean,
Wake up.
girl, what anyway, that's probably another show.
Yeah.
I couldn't anyway. But all right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what we're talking about next week. Can you please anyway? I'm excited, y'all. And Felicia will be joining us until I guess she doesn't want to join us anymore. But we would
Exactly.
love to have you, Felicia. So thank you
I love
again
you
for being
too.
on with us.
Person.
Thank you, Kim. Kim, you're not going to be a winner in August. Oh, never
In
mind.
August, the first week in August, I will not. I'll be in Mexico.
Hey.
Mexico, Mexico.
Nice. All right, Jill. I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.